That is Larry, Mary, and Todd in the background, SoFeya. They are my encouraging crowd. Whenever I'm feeling down, they lift me up. And there's only one woman, and she's in the middle. She's the big one, so all of them have to listen to her. Larry, Mary, and Todd are the small boys. So, and she's in control of me too. So, anyway, I would like to welcome everyone back to Visible Kindness. If you haven't been here before, welcome to being here for the very first time. If you have not been here, and I rarely say this, I don't bring this up because I'm gonna bring it up right now. I always just jump right into the show, and I don't mention like what exactly is this all about. So I came up with a phrase, and it's kindness given to others is a reflection of the compassion given to yourself. Because I started Visible Kindness as really being kindful to you. We need to be kind to ourselves. We need to love ourselves, and we need to love others as well. And that's really what I started this show on. And it's all about really understanding, hopefully, and exploring the transformational power of kindness and compassion in the world today. And I can't think of a bigger topic to go on. And so today I've got Sophia Lawrence. That is not who's on the show, but it's Sophia Joseph. And we had a really great visit before. I said, we got to hit record because we were having a great conversation. She's an amazing woman. So I'm gonna keep this really short because I would love to hear from her, explain what she's doing and how she got here, because it's really amazing. I actually might make the introduction long too, because I end up talking. But she started a business in 1991, coaching competitive figure skating. I mean that's interesting in itself. And the organization she has is called, and help me, Sophia, if I'm not getting it right again, is Imagined Life.
I imagined life. And we're going to talk about that. She started in October 2016, and she helps people realize their true potential and purpose and to transform souls, whispers, into lives, stories, one sip of water at a time. I just never heard of that. That is just so great. And I love, I always I like to dig deep into my guests' content to know as much about them as I can, and reading books if that's possible, software, websites, whatever they have. And I found a phrase that she has when it says, kindness is not just a thing, it's the quality of the soul. It is a state of being. And I thought that is just so well said. And I'm just very interested in her, what she does, and her background it's literally going to blow her away, blow you away. It's not going to blow her away. But she was 25 years in coaching, skating, like ice skating. Right. And she has a master's degree in spiritual psychology. So it's just so interesting. And I said, we just need to hit the record button because we're just having a great conversation here. So, Sophia, welcome to the show. And I'm glad you're here. It's so great that we had the chance to finally to create a show. And I've talked to you about things I've never talked to other people about. Like the picture I was just showing you in New York and my background here, about your background. It's just been really great. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much, Ed. And I didn't even know, like, you really got into my story and you like really learned who I am and what I'm doing. Well, I'm gonna take it who I am, more like what I'm doing, what I am into there. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
let's go. Like, here's what like to. I like to find, and you're very interesting. This is going to be very interesting. I like to know. I just like to have my guests just share with us like their background a bit. Just saying that in itself is a very interesting story you have. Like, look, where did you come from? I say that to all my guests. Where'd you come from? What do you do? And most people are like, oh, I'm from California or I'm from Canada. And like, where you come from? What brought you to where you are? And I wanted to say to you also, um, um, uh, I'm really sorry about your mom and your dad because they passed away at a very similar time. And I saw it on your Facebook page, and it's my birthday was in the same month that they passed. And just my heart goes out to you for that. It's so nice of you to post something nice about them, and it just really speaks a lot about you. So tell us like where you came from and just a little bit of your journey, because it's just really you're such a very interesting woman.
Well, I came from the Soviet Union and it doesn't exist anymore. And I would have to say that I have to credit Soviet Union from doing what I'm doing, and not in a way that they opened this up in me, but rather than what I didn't have that pushed me into doing what I'm doing. And
looking for spiritual psychology in that way because it was really a journey of healing to begin with.
So this is a long time ago, and I'm gonna say something here because I'm gonna cut this out. And where did we end up? We were at we were talking about the end of the Soviet Union.
Yes.
We're talking about the Soviet Union and the changes that happened in the world, not only at the Soviet Union at that time, and as a part of your life story. So so go ahead.
Well, we have immigrated right before the Soviet Union collapsed. And I was 18. My parents just decided to move and to have a better life here. And that was really a miracle that we did come here. But I guess growing up under the Soviet conditions, and I was a skater when I was little, and I grew up knowing that my name was Stupid Lazy Pig.
What? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't get that. What? Like, what do you mean?
Okay. I grew up knowing that my name was Stupid Lazy Pig.
Are you saying that's what your name, SoFeya Joseph, means?
Now, yeah. No, no, no. That's when I was growing up because that's what people were calling me.
No
My
kidding.
coaches, well, that's what my coach called me every single day as I was skating. Yeah.
I can't believe that. That is like the rudest thing I've ever heard from a coach.
Well, that's how I would perceive that too. But this was the system. It wasn't, I didn't realize that it was the system at the time. I just thought that was me and that's who I am, and that's why they were calling me that. And that was the way they were trying to motivate me to get better. This is the way how they motivated everyone to get better.
Holy cow.
So when you see all these amazing former Soviet athletes, okay, this is how we were growing up. But for someone like me, I just accepted this is who I am and why bother trying, where someone else was like, let me show you, bitch, that's not who I am, and I'm going to strive to prove that. And so those who had that kind of mindset, they were successful. And the ones that were like me were like, well, what are you gonna do? That's just how it is. And why bother trying so hard if nothing is going to change anyway? So that's how I grew up, and that was going on for many years until I pretty much was kicked out from skating because I wasn't trying. And a new coach showed up in my life, and she saw me beautiful and talented and lovable. And so I started working like really hard for her, not because I believed that I was beautiful and talented, but it was someone who believed in me and loved me and showed me kindness. And that's what really informed the rest of my life, I would say.
And how old were you at that time?
I started skating when I was about 2.5, and I skated till about 13. So, yeah. So I've met my coach, my new coach, my loving coach. I've met her around like 8, 9 years old.
And
And
so you is that when you like you have over 25 years of coaching skating? Is that when it began at that young of an age?
well, I didn't start coaching then, but I always kind of had a vision of my coach, my loving coach. With my loving coach, I became a Latvian national champion. And when I became the champion with her, I started realizing that it's not true that I was stupid lazy pig, because if I was stupid lazy pig,
Oh
I
my
wouldn't be a
gosh.
champion, right? And so that kind of shifted my perspective in some way. Of course, I didn't I wasn't consciously aware of that, but doing all the work in retrospect, seeing what happened, I started seeing that what was actually happening. And when we came to America, then our circumstances just happened in such a way where I had to go to school and I had to get an education and decide what I wanted to do professionally in the United States. And the it happened by spirit that I was brought back to the skating rink and that I had an opportunity to become a skating coach. And I went to University of Delaware to get a degree in coaching skating. And when I went to see what it was like, everything there reminded me of my loving coach. And instantly, I knew that that's what I wanted to be doing with my life. I wanted to be like her and doing the kind of work that she did for me. So it became kind of like my vision that I will work with stupid, lazy pigs that no one believes in and get the
Wow.
potential out of them and show the world that it's not true and that it's not just some talented kids that have this potential, but everyone has this potential, and that my purpose is to bring that potential out. And even though I'm not coaching skating right now, this is my life purpose 100%. I'm committed to it. I feel like I was born to do this work, truly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is I love meeting people like you. I really do. So I'm curious. So how I don't want to ask this question yet. Um, I'm curious as to I mean, leaving the Soviet Union at that time, you were how old?
Okay, sorry. I was 18 when we left.
You're 18. I was, and I'm just thinking in my head because I had the opportunity to be in Europe just just a few weeks or a month or two before the wall came down, and nothing had changed there yet. It certainly did for people that lived over there because it was growing in that direction, moving in that direction. But to go from East Germany to West Germany, so yeah, from West Germany to East Germany, it still had not changed, even though it was coming soon. And is this around the time that when the Soviet Union also broke down? Was that around the same time?
I think it was later.
Yeah,
Or
so the
maybe
wall coming
around the
down was
same
after.
time. Yeah, I came to
Yes.
the United States in 1989. 1980, we left 1988, and I came here in 1989. So I think
Okay.
Soviet Union collapsed in like 1991, something like that.
So this time frame is actually fairly close. There was a huge shift in the culture and politics that was taking place in this time. Because for me, it was around 1980, it was around 1988, 89.
Yeah, 1988,
So
'89.
a lot
Yeah.
was shifting at that time. It was very, yeah.
I probably, I was 18.
Well,
I wasn't really
I
concerned
was
with the
too.
world.
I was too. That's exactly what I mean. We're probably you look like you look like way young. Uh, I turned 60. What is it? It's the 26th today. I turned 60 on the 11th. This is a couple weeks ago, and I'm so grateful that I don't look like it or act like it, and I never will. Whatever that means. But I had the opportunity to be over there. I'm just thinking of, people, I'm a Canadian, if you didn't know that. I'm from Canada. I'm from the 51st state, and I'm sorry, all my Canadian friends, I'm just joking about that. I didn't want to get into that conversation, but I love Canada, and Canada is where I'm from. And And when I moved to the United States and started to work here, and then I traveled all over Europe, I found out really quick that in general, all my American friends, in general, Americans had a different attitude when they traveled outside of the US and outside of any vacation spot that wasn't westernized. When Americans went to, like, when I used to live in Geneva, Switzerland, and in Paris, France, and work there. And when I went there, and I would start in a hotel, and I would walk up, and I say, you know, my name is Ed Squire. And they'd say, where are you from? I said, I'm from Denver. And they look up my name on the thing and they go, yeah. And they asked for my passport. And then I gave them my Canadian passport because I have a work visa here and it's a green card. But I will never get the American passport. Gave him the passport and he looks at it every time, no matter what hotel I went into, they would do the same thing. They would go like, oh my gosh, oh, you're Canadian. Oh, like this really hit them, like, wow. And I asked, why do you guys respond like that when we're like, why are we so great? And it's not that you're so great. It's just that you're not American. Because when Americans come here, they seem to expect to be treated like they're American, and we don't even know what that is. We treat you like you're in Russia or you're in France or you're in Switzerland. That's how we treat you. And it's very different. The lifestyle is very different. The culture is I loved it because Canadians, we shift real easy when we travel and we visit places, and we very easily settle into different environments and cultures. But Americans in general don't, because they go where it's, very American. And that's a big thing. That is a big thing. I think it's good for I tell all my American friends, it's great to visit somewhere. Heck, go to Canada and visit Canada, because you'll find out it actually is different there than it is here. And they'll notice you right away. So you came out of the Soviet Union. And could you speak English at the time?
Some.
Because you speak English very well.
Well, I've been here many years.
Well, you only look like you're 30 years old. That's not bad. You do. You look like you're 30 years old. It's like, have you learned?
Well, I got my bachelor's degree here. I got my master's degree here. I wrote my book in English. My husband is American. He still laughs because it's like, how many years you've been here and you still have an accent? But it's easier for me to speak in English than it is in Russian, actually.
Okay.
Even though I still have an accent and I still speak Ranglish sometimes, but it's still easier for me to communicate in English than it is in Russian.
Isn't that something? I love your accent. I really do. It's very cool.
But I did study English in school. As a second language. And so my English was as good as someone who's studying a foreign language as a second language, which is not that good, right? Even though, so because I was coming from a Jewish background, and a lot of Jews at the time were actually immigrating, my English teachers, they would say, my name changed, by the way, I was called Faye, and they would say, Faye, you have to pay more attention to English. And they would you have to be paying more attention to English. Like they knew that I was going to immigrate one day anyway. So, but I didn't care. I wasn't a very good student, but well, here we were. And I had to go to school and I had no choice. So, yeah.
So I'm gonna let's go back to where we were, because I want to find out a little bit more, like jump back into your journey. So you were really obsessed with and wanted to create other winners and champions and get them out of this mindset of they're stupid people, right? And you
not obsessed with getting them into the mindset that everyone has a potential.
But what was the phrase? What was the phrase that you had that they used on you? Stupid people. What did you call it?
Stupid lazy pig.
Stupid lazy pig. So, and it sounds to me like you weren't the only one that was treated that way. Is that correct?
No, everyone was treated that way.
So you were saying, if I'm following your story, that some of the skaters, all of the skaters, had that influence on them, and you coached them and got them out of that. If I'm hearing you correctly, yes?
Well, in America, people don't call other people this kind of name. So it's
No,
not like this doesn't happen. But just because you're not being bullied like that, it doesn't mean that people don't experience feelings like I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it, I'm worthless,
no. As a
etc.
matter of fact,
So there
in the
are other.
States, it's opposite here. You're a winner. You're a winner. You can make money. You're successful. That, you know what I mean? It's like completely
Well, yeah,
opposite. It's like
but then
overkill.
there is a belief, there is a lot of competition too, and then
Yeah,
there is also this perfection of your failure, your dead
that's
end,
right.
etc. So there is a lot of I'm not good enough going on, and
That's right.
especially when you're in skating and you're at the arena and you're whatever age you're at, you compete with other girls or other boys that are right there in your face. And it's constant. Coaches compare you to others, your parents compare you to others. And so it's constant proving that I'm good enough. And then there are certain coaches that are elite and they only going to take these kids, but they don't care about those kids. And I started coaching those kids. They were my students. And I was taking those kids that no one else wanted. And for me, it was this transformation to show that these unwanted kids have the potential like these wanted kids and maybe even better.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. Hmm.
And it was so
Mm.
powerful. It's so powerful because today some people come to me that met me like sometime later, not just me and my students, and they were like, you had the most talented students in California, coached in California, you had the most talented students in California. And I was like, oh, you think so, huh? Because I didn't, I made them.
Yeah.
And it's not like I made them. We all are made. God made us,
Yes.
but
But you coached them,
but
you
it is
brought them there,
you
you
pull
led them
this,
there,
you
taught
love
them.
them and you pull this out of them. And
Yeah.
and the trick is in the Soviet Union, they thought that they could get the best out of us through fear and humiliation. And I find that you get the best out of people through love and appreciation and kindness. And and I see that's the only way that you can get the best out of people. And maybe fear sometimes will amplify things, but it's a very short-term fuel. And it's a very fast road to a burnout and hating what you loved originally.
Yeah.
So,
And unfortunately, that is something that is deeply ingrained into our culture today through many things. It's the culture, it's the society, and it sure as heck is a lot to do with social media too, where people are looking and seeing what they think they are or want to be, and that's not reality there. And you can't look out at other people and in life and accept what you're seeing as your reality. I like what you have on your Facebook page. There's a couple of things I really liked. And one says, "You see a person's true colors when you are no longer beneficial to their life." Isn't that powerful? I like that. You see a person's true colors when you are no longer beneficial to their life. And we're in a day and age when people are taking taking advantage of is one saying, but using people is another one. Or yeah, it's just like it's just my kindness, my kindness phrase that I came up with, which is kindness given to others is a reflection of the compassion given to yourself. And I thought that sounded so good, and I thought I need to Google that to see if that's original, and it was not. It came original out of my heart, but the person who said that for the first time that I got posted was um, Nelson Mandela. He came up with that, and
Well, it's, when spirit speaks to you, it speaks the same to you, and Nelson
that's
Mandela.
right.
It doesn't matter.
That's right. If he was here, he would say the same thing. And I'm not sitting here going, yeah, that's my phrase. That's my heart. Kindness to yourself is a reflection
It's spirit's phrase.
yes, kindness to others is a reflection of the compassion you give to yourself. So you also I was so surprised at this too. You had after 25 years of coaching skills, you no, sorry, I'm not. That's not what I was looking at. I'm looking at your what my questions I wanted to ask you. It has to do with yeah. After losing an Olympic gold medal, what? Can you share that with us?
My dream was to coach at the Olympics and to coach an Olympic medalist. And it came to pass. And I thought, this is it. Like, I got what I want. Like, I'm getting what I wanted. And I got called to coach one of the biggest stars in American figure skating, which was Sasha Cohen, if you heard that name.
Yeah, that absolutely. I remember that name. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sasha Cohen called me to coach her, and I was preparing her for nationals and for the Olympics. And it was incredible opportunity. And I thought, now I'm getting like what I wanted always, but it didn't quite go the way I wanted. And she fell twice at the Olympics and she lost the gold medal. And it's really a powerful moment because some people would say, well, she won the silver, but she didn't win the silver. She lost the gold. And this is a huge difference.
Oh yeah, because nobody goes into the Olympics shooting for the silver.
Well, but it's not just that. She could have won the silver. She could have skated perfect and get silver, but she fell twice. So she lost. She didn't win. And so it was really, really a powerful moment because on one hand, I got what I wanted because I wanted to coach an Olympic medalist.
Mm.
And on another hand, I totally didn't get what I want. And this is the moment where ideally coming back face to face with stupid lazy pig, because obviously I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough coach, because if I was good enough coach, then she wouldn't have fallen down. And so at the moment, it was a very kind of disappointing experience. And also skating is so competitive. And I didn't coach Sasha from the beginning. I was called to coach her. She was already a well-known skater. And so there was a lot of jealousy at the same time, like, oh, wow, why is she called to coach Sasha, right? And so everyone is looking to, in my opinion, I'm not saying that they were doing that.
Yeah,
this is
right.
my perception, okay? My perception that they are all looking at me like, oh, it's your fault that she fell down. That they were looking for something to take me down. I mean, it's my perception completely. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but I'm seeing the world that way. So for me, it's true. And so it was a humbling moment that also, on top of that, Sasha really struggled big time. She struggled with coping with pressure.
Mm.
And I never expected that. I never thought of the kind of pressure an athlete deals with at the Olympics. My students were competing at nationals, but they were little kids. They were not like at that level. So I didn't see that kind of pressure on someone. I have to win and prove to the whole world that I'm good enough. I mean, this is really, really a major thing. I have to prove to the world that I'm not a failure. She has the same issue that I had. I have to prove to the world that I'm not a failure, and she had to prove to the world that she's not a failure. Okay, and
Isn't that
so
something?
every single time she falls down, what is that saying? I'm a failure.
Yeah.
Okay, so she is terrified to fall down. Every mistake she makes and practices, she is out of her mind, crying and upset, and there's just so much pressure. And there is nothing I can do about it. She's not even responding to anything. And I am there with her, her mom is there, and her main coach. Because if you look me up, I'm not her main coach. I was training her, but she had her main coach there with her as well. And no one can help her. And I'm looking at all of that and I'm just thinking, I have a whole bunch of students at home and I don't want my students to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something that I don't know that I need to know to be good enough to help my students. So that's kind of how it was. And at the Olympics, Sasha's mom would call someone in Russia, and this person would talk to Sasha on the phone. And this person was not a skating coach. And it was some kind of an energy healer. And then she skates better. And I'm like, what is that? I never heard of anything like this before. I need to know what he is doing. What is he doing that he talks to her on the phone and then she's doing better? I need to know what that is because, I want to be the best coach in the world. So I have to know what that is. And so that was kind of the beginning of my spiritual journey. So I first started going towards sports psychology because I realized that, Sasha didn't fall because she wasn't good enough skater. She was the best skater in the world. She fell because she couldn't cope with pressure and there was some mental construct that she didn't know how to deal with. So the skaters, the athletes, they put an enormous amount of time and energy into developing their physical skills, their strength, their endurance, their choreography, their technique, etc. But they put no effort into their mental training. So I thought I have to learn that. And so I went back to school and I was studying sports psychology. And then I realized that sports psychology wasn't actually taking me where I wanted to go. And that's when spiritual psychology kind of came in. And in the beginning, I wasn't fully understanding what it was all about. But over time, I realized that that's the way to realizing your potential, to realizing who you are. Because when people talk about potential, they think it's just something that you can accomplish, but that's not what it is. Potential is your true essence, your true essence of who you are. That's self realization. That's the spirit that's inside of you. And you can develop amazing mental skills and there is a ceiling to that. So I started realizing that you can develop phenomenal physicality, and there is a limit to what your body can do. And then you develop crazy powerful mind, and there is a limit to what mind can do. And that's when you break through the ceiling and you discover spirit. And then you
And
know
this
that
is
you are
interesting.
unlimited. Yeah.
And now this leads us into, and forgive me if I pronounce it wrong.
I imagined life.
Thank you very much. I
I
imagined
imagined
life.
life.
I imagined
Yeah.
life. The organization that you started, and I would like to just give a brief description. I'm going to read just literally what you gave to me to explain that, and I love for you to just get us into that and explain what you're doing because I think it's very powerful. So I always ask all my guests, what is the goal of your business? What are you doing, and how do you see kindness making a difference? And you said the goal is to position imagined life on the map to increase visibility so that we can change more lives from the correction institutions to schools to athletics to entrepreneurs. We are here to help create global movement kindness is, and I said this earlier, kindness is not just a thing, it is the quality of the soul. It is a state of being. I've never heard that before, ever. I like that. Imagined life is teaching people not only how to embody it, but the prerequisites in order to embody more kindness. For us, it is the way of life. It begins from the inside out and is expressed in our communications, our offers, and relationships. Man, I love what you're doing. That is powerful stuff. So how do you do this? When you came up with this idea, started this company, what do you like? How explain this to me, if you would. This is really powerful stuff.
It is very, very powerful stuff. So powerful that I didn't come up with the idea. It was a revelation. The whole system is so genius that there is no way that my little self could invent that. So it's what's so powerful here. I mean, what you just read is so accurate in that people expect when we see kindness as just something that you have or don't have, and then we judge things
Mhm.
by our beliefs about kindness. So kindness is not something limited to our beliefs about kindness. Like if I'm saying something that fits your definition of kindness, then it's kind. But if I say something else and it doesn't fit my definition of kindness, then it's not kindness. So you can say, my mean coaches that called me stupid, lazy pig were not kind. But in retrospect, if you really look at it, in a way it was, because it woke up kindness in me in a different way. So it's a very cool way to seeing when you start understanding that who we are as spiritual beings, spirit, Holy Spirit in the human body that wants to know itself. And this spirit is kindness, period. And only kindness is. And our purpose here is to know what that actually is. And part of it is knowing the other side of it, what we don't like, it's part of it for us to grow on the other side. And what I said about other qualities, because in Imagined Life, I have received 50 qualities of the soul, not just one. So kindness, all of the qualities are the names of spirit. And if you really think about what that means, is one word, love.
I was gonna ask you that. I was pulling up my browser because I was looking for. I was gonna Google define kindness for me, and I've done a lot of that, but my brain can't think. And love is the ground space for kindness.
It's love is
Yeah.
the key. But here's what I have discovered about love, and that love is like a muscle. And now, psychologists talk about love as muscle because, in a way, if you exercise it, it becomes stronger. Okay?
Yes. Oh, yes.
But I have discovered something more than that. And what that is that love is not a muscle, but a muscular system. And what that means is you have bicep, it's a muscle, tricep is a muscle, deltoid is a muscle, quad is a muscle, but whatever, glute
Yeah.
is a muscle, right? They're all muscles, but they have different names because they have different functions. So it's a muscle with different functions. So in that way, kindness is a muscle of love. It's a muscle is love, right? So kindness is love with this particular function. And just like muscles, some of our muscles are stronger and some of our muscles are weaker. And you will experience positive and comfortable and beautiful things in the muscles that are strong and not so good things in the muscles that are weak. So you will meet people, right, that experience lack of kindness I mean, there are many people that have experienced
Sure.
so much pain, lack of
Sure.
kindness, lack of acceptance, etc. And they think that it's those people that are doing these things to me. But what it actually is happening is that the universe is showing you a mirror and is telling you, you know, you need to grow your quality of kindness to a higher level. You need to open your mind to see what are your beliefs about kindness? What are your judgments about kindness? What is it that's holding you back from embodying full kindness? Why are you seeing lack of kindness around you? It's the filter that's on your eyes that you're seeing through. And when we start cleansing this filter, all of a sudden things begin changing in our world. So when I'm saying that kindness, there are prerequisites to kindness, because I'm just kind of going to throw it this way. If you don't have trust in your life, will you be experiencing much kindness?
No.
If you don't have success or abundance in your life, will you be experiencing much kindness?
No.
If you don't have much patience in your life, would you be experiencing much kindness?
No. And I speak from experience in all of
You
this.
don't have, if you don't have enough courage or excellence in your life, will you be experiencing more kindness?
Nope. You won't.
So these are prerequisites to reach the level of kindness. So if you're not having enough nurturing or support, there is absolutely no way you're going to be at the level of kindness, because kindness is a higher level of consciousness. So there are prerequisites that we need to fulfill at the lower levels to reach a higher level. So when we're judging someone, oh, that person is not kind and they should be this and that, we're not seeing that there are all these other qualities that are missing. Plus, there are also all kinds of things that we are missing inside ourselves that we need to grow in. And so in that, every soul has a blueprint, and that blueprint is composed of these qualities, and we would call them lessons that your soul came into this body to learn about itself.
That is powerful stuff. Yeah, go ahead. Because like the reason I started Visible Kindness, I tell people that, it's my phrase that I come up with, which is kindness given to others is a reflection of the compassion given to yourself. I absolutely mean that, and that's just a rewritten version of saying love your neighbor as yourself. It's the same thing, but I never started Visible Kindness because those are great things. I started Visible Kindness because I was suicidal at the time. I hated myself. And I was at a level of deep depression to the point of I'm grateful for my mental health therapist. It's like almost I should record this and just hit play when I'm talking about this on a show, because I say it all the time. But she said, you need to start looking up at people. She said, like, I mean, I'm in a therapy session with her. She's like, Ed, you need to start looking up at people. Like, you need to just smile and say hello to like strangers. And I just thought that was ridiculous. And it made me angry just having her say that. Like, why would I want to do that? I'm not interested in strangers. Why would they be interested in me? And this is when the level of depression that I had, and the suicidal tendencies that I had and she said, like, you need to be kind to yourself. And I had no idea what she meant about that. And she says, like, for example, she said, get a camera for yourself and go take some pictures of some plants or something. Just you need to slow your life down and just focus on something. And I thought, okay, I'll go get a camera and I'll take some pictures of some plants. And I was just joking, but I started to do that, and I actually really enjoyed it. I was like, wow, I've never really looked at plants so close before. And then I learned how to actually take a picture and improve the shot. And then I started filming, and I would go down to the local zoo and I would film the giraffes and the bears and the monkeys. And I just started living my life in just a very different way to be kind, just to be kind to myself. And then, and then I started visible kindness because I needed to. I understood that kindness to others is a reflection of the compassion given to myself. And then I never used to be kind to people. And now I look forward to it every single day. And then I make a lot of video. I film a lot on what I do when it comes to kindness. And I'm so grateful for just all the guests that come on my show. And I feel like, it's like a solo episode. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't matter to me if anybody else likes this show or not. I'm getting a ton out of what you're saying, but other people will for sure. What you're speaking of is very powerful. It's very, very strong. And I never felt that kindness and love towards myself and to others was so important in my life. And now success to me has nothing to do with money. And I used to make a ton of money. I used to be a high six-figure income earner. And I used that as a way of, that's my identity. I used to like to tell people this is what I did. And I wouldn't come across like I was high-minded. I would come across like I am right now, like a nice guy. But inside I was like, look at me, look at who I am. And then when that job got taken away, because I mentally I couldn't handle the type of job that I had. Then I was like, who the hell am I? Like, who am I? I don't have this job anymore. Like, I'm unemployed. What am I supposed to tell people? Who am I supposed to be? And now, based on all the things you're saying, I'm in such a wonderful place now because I don't care about money. I don't care about what my position is. I really actually don't even care what people think about me. And that's a whole different thing. I mean, I kind of do, but I kind of don't. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't put something out that I'm hoping you think about something. That is not me anymore. It's such a wonderful, comfortable way to live. And it just reflects, everything I'm saying just reflects what you have just been saying to us in the last 15, 20 minutes. It's very powerful. I love the way you're explaining that. So with this company, what are you doing? Like, what is the deal with that? I mean, I looked at the website and everything. Can you explain to everybody what is that? Help us understand what you're doing with that. I know it's teaching people not only how to embody it, but when I look at the website, and I'm kind of wondering, wow, where are you going with this? What are your goals for what you're doing here?
Well, first of all, so imagined life is living in, basically it's living the life embodying imagines. And imagine stands for I am, imagine, magnetize, and intent. And it's a formula. And the formula is based on the qualities, or we call them names of spirit. So, for example, here I am today on the quality actually of connection. And I imagined today is I am connection I long for. And that becomes, so imagined is this formula that I intend to embody within myself. So that dictates how I am going to be showing up in the world, how I am showing up in the world, my presence, my beingness, etc. And also, if there is something that shows up for me that I don't believe is connection, then I need to release that. So the practice is very simple. I charge water on the quality, on the imagine that I'm on. And because this quality becomes my way of being, it's my life. That's why I imagine life. I live as an embodiment of imagines. So it's not a course, it's a lifestyle. It's a ritual. And the ritual would be every sip of water that I take, I don't just drink water. It's a sacred ritual of connecting with my inner self. And my inner self, the spirit, is connection. And every time I take a sip of water, I visualize what that means. I can recenter myself if I'm a little bit off, if I'm not in alignment with that. So would I need to correct within myself and just be that. And this quality is the quality from my blueprint. So we do a blueprint. There are actually 50 qualities, like I said. And the blueprint is a time, it's a time frame that you are working on, meaning you choose 12 qualities out of 50, and you work one quality at a time, and it takes about 5 days to embody the quality. So it's like a 60-day process. Okay, so I have, like, every 2 months I sit down and I choose new qualities for my blueprint, and then I begin practicing it one at a time. So it's very simple, because once I choose the quality, I start at some base level and I visualize what my higher level is. And I am actually in the process of creating myself to a higher level, because connection I long for is a higher level than what I was. So I'm aspiring to that higher level, if that makes sense. So you're constantly creating yourself. And at the same time, you are at this level right now, and it's perfect just the way it is. So it's not like, because I can be better, I'm not good enough right now, which most people kind of like go, oh, I'm not good enough right now, but when I reach that level, I'm going to be better.
Right. No, yes.
So
Yeah.
that's not, no, I am perfect where I am.
Yes.
And I
That's
can
right.
grow to a higher level.
That is
And
powerful.
because I have my blueprint to guide me, and because I have my quality, it gives me a very tangible touch points of how I'm growing. So it's not abstract, it's very connected. And so that's kind of what I imagine life is. We have a water bottle. So this is a very special water bottle. This is actually a sports bottle. The imagined attaches to the bottle. So every sip of water becomes a touchstone and meditation and mindfulness, which is incredible,
Nice.
because a lot of people meditate, for example, now,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, I
Nowadays.
do.
Before, not as many, but now they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So imagine this. You meditate in the morning, 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 5 hours. It doesn't matter how long you meditate for. Okay, you meditate. You open your eyes, and the next thing you do, what? Check your phone or computer. And all of the meditation that you have done is just going, and you plugged in into the world. And this is the kind of society that we live in today. And if you meditate again in the evening, then maybe this is your second time that you touch with your soul, with your being centered again. But here's the thing: throughout the day, the whole day, what do you do?
Oh, yeah.
You drink water
Yeah.
all day long.
Yeah.
And so all day long becomes an all day practice from the moment you wake up to the time you go to sleep. And your moments of disconnect are minimum, because I take a sip of water. I take a sip of water. I keep recentering myself. I don't just drink water.
Huh.
I
Wow.
recenter. I recenter.
I've
I'm a
never thought of
skating
that.
coach.
That is
I'm a
so
skating
good.
coach. Can you imagine a skater who has lessons once a week? Do you think that
Oh,
skater
no, no,
who
no.
skates
It's
once
gonna
a
be
week,
every day, pretty much every day, maybe one day off.
not just, yes, no days off,
Yeah,
no
no
days
days off.
off,
Yeah.
and you skate 5 to 7 hours a day,
Yeah.
and most of the time you have a coach with you, and those who do that, they have a chance of making somewhere, and those who don't, no chance. You have to train, like, you have to train that way. So, but somehow we're not seeing our world, our lives, as a sport where we need to train the same way, and this is more important to train in our life than it is in skating.
Yeah.
So, and every single thought that you have, you're training yourself for something. Is it a thought that is intentional, that's taking you somewhere? Or is it a thought that is distracting, or you're thinking something negative or whatever, and you don't even know what you're thinking because we're so not intentional most of the time. And every single time that we're not intentional, we are training not to be intentional, and we get better at that. So this becomes your coach in a bottle that is constantly reminding you, remember, Ed, this is who you are. Remember, this is who you are. This is who you are. And you just come back to it. And you choose it. No one tells you who you need to be. You choose it for your own self. And you're the one who decides what it means to you. So you're completely in control at the same time. So it's not like someone tells you, you know what, you should be kind to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's judgment right there.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. When it comes to loving your neighbor as yourself, it has nothing to do with telling them what to do or how they should behave. You love them as you love yourself. It doesn't, you love them based on the kind of person they are at and how they're reacting to you and are they being kind to you. None of that counts. You be kind anyway. This is really powerful stuff. I wanted to say to you, another question I asked, and this would be great to bring us. I might make this a 2-part episode. It's so good. One of the questions I ask all my guests that come on, I always ask, what is the biggest challenge you face in your business right now? And you said becoming visible and educating people in the critical value of embodying kindness. And I have to say that is the nicest challenge I've ever had anybody answer that question with. It's not, I'm getting the wrong screen here. It has nothing to do with how much you expand your business or increase your income or all these business oriented answers. You know what I mean? It's very personal what you've said. And I really, really like that. Becoming visible and educating people on the critical value of embodying kindness. And, yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show tonight because we're doing it at night tonight, and I'm glad you took time to do this. And I'm so grateful for doing this because I get so much out of my guests all the time. I love doing this and helping to promote what you're doing any way I can. I'd love to have you back on the show again because we're just starting to talk about how what you're doing makes a difference and really digging into the deeper parts of our souls and how we manage our lives and become better people. It's just a powerful topic when it comes to because I'm just not into. I've posted several times on Facebook. If you're promoting a lifestyle increase and a new car you can have, or a fancy house, or a holiday, and how much money you can help people make, I'm just not interested. I used to be, but I'm just flat out not interested in any of that anymore. I don't. I want more of what you just talked about in this show. And so I really want to thank you for doing this. You took me by surprise. I was like looking at all your stuff and I couldn't quite understand everything until we had a nice conversation here. And I'm just so impressed with who you've become and what you're doing.
Ed, what you just said is so powerful because I know why you're saying this, why you want this more than all these other things. And the reason for that is this: seek the kingdom and everything else will be added on to you.
Holy cow. Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head. That's how I live. That's how I live. All my life I've wanted to, thought I was, and it was about 2 years ago. Not even that, it was about 18 months ago. The lights came on. And it was my life changed like overnight in that moment. And it's taken decades of my life to get to that point. And I couldn't be any happier now with every day that I get. I'm so grateful for every day I get, every breath I have, I go to bed, I'm grateful. I'm always thankful when I go to bed. I wake up in the morning, I'm thankful for waking up. I'm grateful. That's just how I live now. It's wild. I call it wild because I have a very different personality. We all do. I know that I'm wild, but I've had an interesting story in my life, and I've needed love and kindness a lot, and I'm glad I'm headed in this direction, and it brings me into the path of people like yourself. I'm so grateful for that.
Thank you. Thank you. This is the most important gift that you can truly give yourself. And if you don't have that kingdom within you that is expansive and loving, then nothing is going to fulfill that.
No, and you can go
It's
after it, and if
just
you get it, you'll find out that it's empty. That's what will happen. And you'll see many people who are very, very successful and wealthy. When it comes to the end of the road or certain times in their lives, none of it matters. They find themselves empty. And love and kindness is what they want to have. I think of Matthew Perry, in his book, uh, it was just such a sad story of how I don't even know why I'm bringing this up, but he was a very caring, loving, kind person. And that's really all he wanted out of life, not his success and becoming a millionaire. All that stuff didn't matter to him. It was just being kind to himself and being kind to other people. And, he had a very tragic ending to his life, but I think he's headed in the right direction afterwards, which is really the really most important part. Um, anyway. Oh, this has been great. We should do this again. I would love to have you back on the show, SoFeya. It would be great. There's one more thing I wanted to say, because I was on your Facebook page. I loved another saying that you have that I noticed, and I've seen this before, and I've said it many times. And it's by who is it by? It's like the guy who wrote this is Mark Twain. So Mark Twain says the two most I love this. The two most important days in your life. Like, if you really want to know this, what are the two most important days in your life, by Mark Twain, a brilliant man? He says, it's the day you are born and the day you find out why. Because if you haven't got that figured out, you're not going to find out what the two most important days in your life are. And that's powerful stuff. And I like how you posted that, because it really, everything you're doing really embodies what you put up on your Facebook page. So I really appreciate everything you're doing. I want to say thank you again. I would love to do this again sometime.
I would love that, and I'm really, really thankful and grateful for you giving me the opportunity to be visible.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Because that's also bad, and just really enjoy that. And I just finished recording a course, by the way, if anyone is interested to do the course. And it's called From Rock to Diamond. And it's all about what we just talked about, and more, way, 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 way more. It's really absolutely incredible. So it's called From Rock to Diamond. And if you want to post it later, I can give you like a code or something for people that watch. Like a special deal.
Absolutely.
I don't have it right now, but if you do, that's going to change the way you see and live in the world.
I'm interested myself, to be honest with you, for sure. And I love to promote things like that are good. So I'll definitely include that with everything. So we'll have to do this again.
Thank you, Ed, so much. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being here.